Hey everybody, it's Daniel here from Mobile Syrup, and today we're looking at the HTC One X Plus. This is currently a TELUS exclusive, available for $129.99 on a 3-year contract or $599.99 outright. This is quite a bit more powerful than the original One X, but looks otherwise identical. It has a 1.7 gigahertz quad-core Tegra 3 processor, 1 gig of RAM. It's got 64 gigabytes of internal storage, and that 8 megapixel camera with image sense. It's now got an updated 1.6 megapixel front-facing camera, also with image sense. It's wide angle, just like the 8X by HTC. And there are a few other improvements here because this is running Jelly Bean, so we'll take a look at that in a moment. First of all, let's take a look through the device. We have the micro USB port on the left side. On the right side we have a flush volume rocker. On the top we have that power button, microphone, and 3.5mm headphone jack. And on the back you can see that HTC logo, Beats, and that 8 megapixel camera. You can see it sticks out still just a little bit. That hump is there presumably because it's the same camera module. And actually I have the original One X right here. This is the Rogers version in white. And you can see visually they are absolutely identical. The only difference here is the color scheme. There is a 2100 milliamp hour battery inside the new One X Plus, which is 300 milliamp hours larger than the one in the One X. So somehow HTC did some nipping and tucking and figured out a way to include that larger battery. But visually they're identical, dimension-wise they're identical. I really prefer this black version, and you can see just how absolutely stunning it is. It still feels great with that custom polycarbonate finish. This matte build feels really comfortable in the hand. It's not going to slip out of your hand. There's quite a bit of friction there. You can see it's still quite a bit. It's quite big, but compared to some of the devices that are currently being released, including the Droid DNA, which is out on Verizon, this is quite a bit smaller actually. And it's interesting how far we've come in 7 months since the One X was originally released. This was considered quite a large device in April, or in February rather, when it was introduced, in April when it was released. But now it's actually quite mid-range. You know, we have, for comparison, we have the Galaxy S3 here. We have the Nexus 4. So you can see it's still a bit bigger than those two, but ultimately nobody's really going to be surprised by the size anymore. So if we turn it on, you can see it has that same 4.7-inch Super LCD 2 display at 1280 by 720. This is still one of the most gorgeous displays on the market. You can see viewing angles are fantastic. Everything is still quite sharp, and we're just waiting for that Super LCD 3 display on the DNA to come to Canada. But until then, this is really one of the best displays that you can find. Now, what does this have that the One X doesn't? Well, the One X doesn't have Jelly Bean yet, and this comes with Jelly Bean out of the box. And what does that mean? Well, you have Sense 4 Plus, which is an iteration on Sense 4. It looks pretty identical, but there are a few things here that HTC's done. So first of all, we have those expandable notifications. So that's something that you can take advantage of. This is a notification weather widget. You can see I'm expanding it with 2 fingers. And this hasn't been updated to 4.1.2 yet, so you can't actually close it with 1 finger. But there you go. The other thing that's very interesting and something that's troubling me is this power saver feature, which is permanent in the notification bar. While you can't actually see it when the notification bar is closed, it's always there, regardless of whether you turn off the actual feature. So if I turn it on, I've still disabled all of the individual toggles on the power saver feature, but even if I turn it off, it is still there, which is troubling me. And there's no option to remove that at all. You can't swipe it away. It's just always there. I don't like this. I own this device. I want to have I want to know that I can make these changes to my phone without it without it being locked off from by HTC or by TELUS. On the plus side, however, TELUS has not included any bloatware except for its one app that it bundles with every Android device, and that would be App House, and that's just a portal that you can use. It doesn't even come installed, actually. You have to go to the Play Store and download it separately. So there's very little bloatware on this device. Now, this is an LTE device. I don't get TELUS LTE in my apartment, unfortunately, so I can't show you the speed test results. I can show you speed test results on the HSPA Plus network, but they're not really going to be that impressive. I will, put those results in the written review if you're interested in them. But ultimately, this is LTE. It's going to be very fast, and 4G or HSPA Plus is not going to be as fast, but it's still going to be relatively quick. So that's your preview for LTE speeds. Now, what has improved is the front-facing camera. So what we have here is we have a slightly updated camera interface. And if I change this around, you can see that it's now wide angle. So before, you would see only this portion of the display, but right now it's actually a wide angle lens, and it's 1.6 megapixels. So it's quite a bit more detailed than that. And you can actually time it. So, you can actually set it by default to have a 2-second timer, or if you want to change that, you can change the timer to between 2, 5, 10 seconds. You can also change the aspect ratio, the quality. The video quality goes up to 720p max. That's the front-facing camera. So if we go into the back camera, you can see that we still have that 1080p video. We can use the self-timer on the back camera as well, and there's all these settings here. You can change ISO, white balance. You can change continuous shooting. You can also, while you're shooting video, which is that innovative one tap video feature, you can now snap 6 megapixel photos instantly, which is similar to what you could find on the One X, but it's higher quality. So everything has kind of been beefed up just a little bit, and the phone itself hasn't really been altered all that much. What you can do, however, which was given to the Rogers and TELUS One X in a OTA update, is you can go to the display gestures and buttons menu, and you can change what this right side capacitive button actually does. So traditionally it just opens the recent apps menu, but you can change that. So now we can change what the menu button does, and see if we open up Chrome here. I have Mobile Syrup opened, and if we press the button, it'll actually open up the menu on the screen, in addition to allowing us to use the on-screen menu button. And now that if we hold down that same button, it gets back to the recently opened app. So a little bit more convenient for us users. At least we have that option. The other thing here is Google Now, and Google Now was that big addition that Google added to Jelly Bean in Android 4.1. And Galaxy S3, you have to get into the Google Now using the recent apps button by holding down the home button. This one, you just hold down the home button for a moment and it gets right in there. So which is really, really nice, really fast, and something that I use all the time, so I really appreciate that. Other than that, this is pretty much the same phone as the One X. It's really not all that much better. And when I say that, it's not to denigrate this phone at all, other than to say that the One X really was ahead of its time, and it was a fantastic phone, still is a fantastic phone, and that this phone can come out 7 or 8 months later sporting slightly updated hardware. This is, the Arc S to the HTC One X's Arc, but this is even better. And the battery life on here is much better, actually, than the One X, which was its kind of Achilles heel. The One X didn't last for nearly as long as we would have liked it to. So everything else has been improved. The screen is the same resolution, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's a great screen nonetheless. Build quality is still absolutely amazing. It's still got that Beats audio integration. And overall, for a device with 64 gigabytes of internal storage, another thing that's been hugely improved from the original One X, which only came with 16 gigabytes of internal storage, this is definitely a worthy successor. Now, it may be coming quite close to HTC's Deluxe, which is the international version of the Droid DNA. It comes with a 1920 by 1080 screen, 5-inch screen, quad-core Snapdragon S4 Pro processor, and 2 gigs of RAM. So that's definitely a step up from this in terms of hardware. We're not sure when that's coming to Canada, but it's already been launched on Verizon and in Japan under the Butterfly J name. So it's definitely coming soon enough. We're not sure whether this is just a stopover device, whether this will be kind of in and out of the market. But right now, this is HTC's flagship phone in Canada, and it definitely represents them quite well. So this has been a quick look at the HTC One X Plus, available exclusively right now at TELUS. Thanks so much for watching.